Aloha, shalom, y'all. This next video is regarding arranging in finale notation program. It's a long video, 17 minutes, for hardcore users. It's especially for arranging guitar notation and guitar in ensembles. You may find some tips and tricks, I hope, that you are not yet aware of, especially on guitar ensembles. Okay, I've been at this finale notation program for 27 years. Professional arrangements for various clients, mostly arranging my own compositions. If you find this helpful, please subscribe. We'll open up Arioso by Bach. Here it is, and it is for flute and guitar. I'll show you a little bit of it as it plays back because it does a nice job. Let's maximize it and play a little bit back, if it will. Oh, press spacebar. Okay, so what you've seen and heard is a flute. Let's look at what this was because you can't see it. It's above there. It's a window. You look at Scoremanager. And the flute I have here is the Aria player. You edit the player, you see that it is Flutesolo KS. So I go to this, it's Personal Orchestra 5, which I purchased. Notation, woodwinds, flutes, down here to Flutesolo KS. I don't know what KS is, but it's a nice sound, and all I'm using for guitar is acoustic guitar. I think that's in the finale default bank. Okay, enough of that. We go away. Go back. Now I'm going to press Command E, which returns me to score view. And you can resize it. Now I want to talk about the difficulty that I'm having. Putting in positions and fingerings. But first, let's talk about how you enter guitar music in one staff. This staff, as you can see here, is a octave guitar staff. So, guitar is written an octave higher than it sounds. For instance, if you saw this here, that's a C. It looks like C an octave above middle C. Middle C is C4. This would be C5. That's not the way it is. So your middle C on guitar notation is not below the staff. It's up an octave. It's the third line in the staff that I'm showing there. That's really where your middle C is in this octave guitar staff. So if you open up finale and you want to enter in where it plays back correctly in the right octave, enter in this staff. Enter your notes in this staff. Now, let's talk about, okay, when you enter your notes, I will be in Speedy Entry Tool, Click on your measure, it highlights the entire measure. The notes that you write that face upwards will be in layer 1. Layer 2 will be your bass notes, and they will point downwards. So for instance, if I go shift down arrow, then I can, my bass notes, I can delete them. Now look what happened is my upper notes, treble notes, or the chords in this case, went to wherever they're going to go, where they're not pointing upwards, all of them. When they're above the middle line, the stem goes below. When they are below the middle line predominantly, your stem will go up. Now, when I go back in here, I go shift, down arrow, and start entering my bass notes. And I'm only using speedy entry without a MIDI keyboard at the present time. So you have to cursor to your notes. So I'm cursoring down to where B is, which is just below that little line there. I'm going to put a half note. So you just press a 5. I need it dotted. You press your period, which brings the dot. Then I need a quarter. So an eighth note. So I'm going to press A4. There. Now you have B, bass note, dotted, quarter, and eighth. Now I need an A. I'm cursoring down to where A is. Press 5 and period. And I have a dotted eighth. I press 4 and it goes nuts. Where did I go? Okay, I see it. Okay, so now I have the way the measure was before. I wanted to show you one more thing. So actually before I put in the bass notes in layer 2, which you see it's still in layer 2 because the B's and the A's are highlighted. If I go shift up arrow, now I'm in layer 1. So say I wanted to just redo these last 2 chords, which are identical to the first 2. In speedy entry without a MIDI keyboard, you can do it in simple entry. See that? Simple entry tool. You've got to choose the values, so it's already on the 8th note, and it seems to have come back to this. All right, so now I want the same as this chord from the lower note to the higher. It's going to be F sharp, B, D. And you can build it this way, F sharp, B, D. Okay, so there you have it. My next chord will be B, D, F sharp. Same chord, a different inversion. Oops, I got to go over here. B, D, F sharp. Now you notice I don't have the last 8th rest. If you just click out of this, it'll generate it for you. So boom, boom. Oh well, it generated it. Okay, so I'm clicking out of simple entry, and you see it. Okay, so now if I go to this measure again, oops, I went to the very end of the whole piece. You'll hear that it sounds correct. Okay, so that's that there. By the way, another little trick you can do, this measure is 16. If you go here and click that tiny little arrow, it drops down. You can do playback from the leftmost measure. The default is not leftmost measure. So I always click that when I'm starting new piece. So when I'm in scroll view like this, and you stop it, it'll play back from the left measure. In this arrangement, I'm going to go back, Command E to page view, and look at some of the difficult things that you have to do to enter positions and numbers. Okay, so you got to go to Text Tool. Let's pretend measure 16 needed those. It doesn't. But, okay, so a B minor chord, this is what we have here. By the way, the key signature is A, therefore you have S, F, C, and G sharps, so they're already in there. Now, so your B and D are not sharp, but your F is. And the B and the A are not. All right, so the only note in here is F sharp. The sharp. By the way, another fun trick. Option spacebar drag. I use that a lot when I'm composing to hear one measure at a time if I want to. You can even go backwards. So I like it. Oh, I went to there. All right, so now pretend, okay, I'm in the text tool. Pretend I want to indicate I'm in second position or the second fret. I'm going to double click and press II. Oops, I want this uppercase to look like Roman numerals. Press caps lock, press II. Now I have second position, or capo 2, fret 2. And then, here's that chord. Your first finger is on the B. Double click, press 1, click out, reposition. That's what you have to do for each and every fingering. Then say I want 3, 4, 2 on the next. 3 will be on the F sharp. Double click, press 3, click out, reposition. 4 is next. Double click. 4, click out, reposition if you need to, and usually you do. And I need a 2 on the top. Double click, press 2, click out, reposition. Talk about a drag. I've done this with this whole piece. Well, I don't need those. I just didn't include this. So I'm going to just highlight all of them, press delete, and they're gone. So now if you look at the whole score, you'll see I have extensive position and fingerings. And it's easier to look at if you don't have the text tool on because you have all your little boxes. And again, Finale, could you please make these boxes bigger so I don't have to, because no matter how you size them, look at this. The boxes are the same size. That means they're just as hard to grab if you want to reposition a note like this. I don't know how to make them larger. I've looked. I wish you could tell me. Please tell me. Thanks. But there they are, and they're not big. And so here's a measure that's a mess. Options, spacebar, let's hear it. Now you're in first position. Now you go to fourth with that fingering to get an E over G sharp. Then you have an A with an open A string. F sharp minor, flute, change, good. Then you have second position. Then you have to go way back up to seventh position and fourth to play that. That's why I've included all these fingerings. It looks better if I go back to just speedy entry and click out, and then you see how it really looks in the score without all those dumb handles. Thank God they don't show in the final score. But this arrangement will be available on my website. I'm calling this series Bach Plucht. Bach Plucht. Okay, so the arrangement I have here is on. Oh, here's another interesting thing. Oh boy, I don't know if you can do this. It's a real mess. What I had to do to get these circles that indicate what string a note is on, because sometimes you'll have a higher note on a lower string and a lower note on a higher string. Does that make any sense? So in this case, I've got an E7th with the open E bass and then an E7, G sharp, B, D. The D is the 7th. The B is on second string, but the D higher note is on the third. Am I right? That's not right. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, it is. Higher note on lower string. That's a mess, isn't it? Okay, I'm getting out of here. So look at this. Buy it for about $2 and see if you can play it. It's advanced. I don't think you can do it. Enough. Shift Command 5 to get back out.